I feel like it's been so long since I did a the budget series videos, and I feel like I took forever to get to this final video, and I wanted to talk about how to rebuild your credit. First off, I want to apologize. As you guys that follow my daily vlogs know that I recently started like babysitting like part-time for extra money, and it was just supposed to kind of be like a date night thing. Of course I didn't tell people that I do YouTube because that's weird. Like, I don't know. Hi, you want to watch your child? By the way, I have YouTube. You can go see every single day of my life. No. So basically it turned into, I feel like, a lot more than I was expecting it to turn into, but I'm okay with that because we've been able to like get everything together for Christmas already sooner than I've ever been able to, and things like that. So I figured I needed to take the time now and film this video. So let's basically go back over it. First off, any budget series videos I've done will be in the description box below. And so let's say you are at the point where you have, I would suggest that you don't do this until you have paid off your debt or gotten out of debt. I would not attempt this while you're still in debt. There's no way we would have done this while we're still in debt. So, and sometimes you can't because nobody wants to give you a credit card anyway, you know? So the big thing we did when we got out of debt was we actually waited probably 6 months to a year. That's how nervous we were about even thinking about getting another credit card or like reactivating any of them. We really didn't want to. But at the end of the day, you have to rebuild your credit. And it's not just like, if you just let it sit there and, okay, I paid all my debt off, your credit's gonna stay really shitty for a lot longer than if you do what we did to kind of rebuild it faster. What we did was we decided to each get a credit card in our names. So Justin got one and I got one. With these credit cards, Justin, for some reason, even though our credit was about the same, they gave him a lot more credit than they gave me. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a woman and I like to shop, I don't know. But for some reason they gave him more, but for me, they only gave me $250. If you have, nobody else would give me a credit card though. So if you have really awful credit and you're looking to rebuild, Capital One is really great about rebuilding your credit. You probably won't have the best interest rates, but if you do this the way we did, it won't matter. So what we did, we decided to get credit cards. We were gonna rebuild our credit. Oh my gosh, it was so scary. But we got a credit card, so I got my credit card. I'm just gonna give examples of what I did. I mean, obviously Justin did the exact same thing. But I got a credit card and I would do something like, it first started out like I would go to the grocery store and I would put our groceries on it. And then as soon as I got home, because you already have money in your budget for that, obviously, like, you know, this is the key though. As soon as you get home, you turn around and you pay that bill. Like, so I would go to the grocery store, use my Capital One card, go home, get online, pay off what I had just put on the card, if that makes sense. It doesn't matter how soon you pay it off or when you pay it off, it's putting transactions on the card. Never, this is what you have to be careful about. You can't just be like, oh, well, I'm gonna wait till next paycheck to pay it, or you're gonna get yourself back in the same damn situation. You need to pay it as soon as you get home. As soon as you charge it, you pay it, okay? That is very important. Don't ever decide you're gonna put more than you can afford, okay? For instance, when we did the floors, like our flooring, okay, and we put the laminate floors down, we saved the money for the flooring, right? So I think like the first time we went in to do the first room, it was like $270 for just the laminate floors. I had saved actual cash for this. So the cash that I had saved for it, I transferred into my banking account that pays like all the household stuff. And because we follow a budget, this wasn't hard for me or worried about the money being eaten up. I split that into 2 payments. While I had the cash for it, if that makes sense, I wanted to keep those transactions going on my card. So that's another thing you can do. Never, ever, ever put money on the card that you don't already have the cash for. Another big thing is you do not carry that card around. Like, you don't just keep it in your wallet and have it with you. No, that card, okay, if you're planning, if you do it like I did it, you go to the grocery store. The only time that card leaves, for instance, we have a in-wall safe hidden in our house. The only time that credit card leaves the safe is I know I'm going to the store and I know I planned this transaction with the card. Then when you get home, you put it right back in that spot. Carrying it around is a really dangerous way of getting yourself back into the same situation. I mean, basically that's it. When we first started, we were terrified, but we noticed our credit started improving like right away. And it was pretty fast. For some reason, I thought it was going to be this really long, slow process, but probably within a year, we had and currently have above average credit. Now our credit is, it's more than above average. It's pretty good. I don't want to be like, you know, look at me with my great credit, but our credit's pretty good. It's not at the very top. I don't even know what the hell the very top is. Like, you have the very best credit score in the whole wide world, but ours is pretty damn good. We are like, yeah. Anyways, but my point in this, like, look at me with my great credit, is it didn't really take as long as I envisioned it taking. I imagined this was going to take years and years to get our credit back, and it really didn't. But the important thing was our debt was paid off, and I think that helped a lot, and I never would have tampered with credit cards again had our debt not been paid off, and had we not had to have done that to build our credit back up. So this is just like a horror story example of how you can get yourself back into trouble. And it's just one scenario because we're not perfect. We were like, holy shit. When we did this to ourselves, we went and got our IUI, and the price was, the price they gave you was like in this list of prices for all these different fertility procedures was $1,500. And we're like, oh, okay. We saved the money for it. We took our little $1,500 and we paid for the IUI before the cycle started. Well, what they don't tell you is there's going to be a lot of blood work and other things and your medications and stuff that it wasn't that they lied to us or anything like that. They, you know, it was very clear that this covers your IUI, but any, you know, appointments we had before or after that set of appointments, like my ultrasounds and stuff, weren't included. And blood work and all that stuff that they ran that didn't necessarily have to do with IUI. There was just a lot of little things that added up to where our IUI really, if you put it all together, was like $3,000. And so we kind of freaked out because we're getting all these medical bills, and you know, it's kind of the thing where like, okay, if you don't pay the bill and you don't move forward and you've already started the medication, and I don't know if that makes sense. So we're like, okay, fine. And we put it on one of our credit cards. And the thing is, we didn't get ourselves into a bad situation because it was a manageable debt. Sometimes people have to take manageable debts, but we didn't save and plan for this. And it wasn't considered an emergency to us to pull from our emergency fund. So it was kind of like, shit, now we have, like, I think we had like $1,200 on a credit card down. I'm like, how did we get back into this position? And we had to like calm ourselves down and be like, it's not unmanageable. We were paying like $300 a month towards it to get it paid off. We got it paid off really fast. Anyway, so, but you see what I'm saying? Like, there's always going to be stuff that's unplanned for. So like when we go into our next IUI, when we decide to do that, we're going to take the price of the IUI and just double it. So we walk in there with double what we need. So we don't get in that position again. But that's just an example of how you can get like into a position where you're like, oh, damn it. And you're back into putting this large amount of money that you don't actually have, that you can go home and pay it off real fast for. You have to be very careful not to get back in the same situation. So basically, at the end of the day, I don't know if any of this is helping, you just want to be sure that you don't carry that card around, and you absolutely do not put anything that you couldn't go home and pay off right away on it. And that is for the sole purpose of rebuilding your credit. Now, yes, there's going to come points in your journey of life where you have a situation like we had. Like, we literally have to pay these bills to finish what we started, but we didn't put money aside for it. And is it really an emergency we want to pull our emergency money out of? And you get in situations where, okay, we're just gonna have to put it on a card. But if you have to do that decision, you need to make sure that it's manageable debt, to where it's like, okay, we have this on the card, but we're not putting anything on a card now until this is paid off. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm just like, I don't know if it's making sense. But anyways, that is kind of what we did to rebuild our credit. And like I said, our credit now is pretty good. I have to laugh because when Capital One first gave me my credit card, it was like, here's $250. And I tried for the longest because I was like, really? Like, I tried for the longest to get them to bump it up, and they absolutely wouldn't. Even though I'd been making payments, paying it off. And then I was finally just like, screw it, whatever. And after like, I think it was like, I had been asking them past the point where you could ask for more. Like, you had the card long enough to ask for it to be bumped up, and they still wouldn't. But then there just came this point where I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't really need more on it. And so all of a sudden, as they realized they're not getting any interest from me because I'm paying stuff off, they started being like, here's more money on your card, here's more money. Every time I'd open my statement, it'd be like, here's an extra $1,000. And now it's a little ridiculous how much credit line they have given me. But it's crazy how, I just want to tell you that story because it's crazy how things can go from like that to where it is now. And I just want you guys to know that it is possible. It might seem like your credit's ruined, it's just in the shitter, but you can recover from it. So like I talked about in previous videos, I'm going to be taking any questions from my videos in the comments that people asked and doing a final video which will be answering questions. So if you have any questions about this or any of the other videos, let me know. So far I think there's like 2 questions. I don't remember what one of them is, but I know another one is, I believe somebody asked about student loans, and I can talk about that and I can answer that question. I'm going to do it in the Q&A video. But if you guys have any more questions about it, leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!